This is the 2014 Mazda 3 sedan. We're also going to be looking at the 2014 Kia Soul. Now, in one of my other YouTube videos, I tested the mid-size Mazda 6 sedan. Found it to be one of the best vehicles I've ever driven in that class. This Mazda 3 is basically a shrink-wrap version of that. It has the same engine as well as two others, a smaller size and a smaller price of about $5,000 fully loaded. Good reasons to take a look here. By the way, the Mazda 3 does come in a hatchback, but I find the sedan with the trunk far more practical. Of course, the choice is yours. If you're a big spender, you can get the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder putting out 184 horsepower with a 6-speed, either automatic or manual, as found in the Mazda 6. Instead, I had the 2-liter 155 horsepower with a 6-speed automatic rated at 30 to 41 miles per gallon, which is slightly better than the 25 to 37 you get on the Mazda 6 engine. The base car has a 2-liter 148 horse with a 5-speed, either manual or automatic, with a 25 to 33 miles per gallon. It offers less power and less mileage, so who wants it? I don't. In spite of its compact size, there's sufficient room in the back seats here, at least for a 5'10" person like myself. The gauge cluster is a bit on the dinky side, but will do. The glove box capacity is above average for a compact car this size. Even better if you take the owner's manual out. The quality of materials and workmanship is very good. Since 85% of the vehicle is made in Japan, I would expect that. However, this dark black color just doesn't cut it. It traps heat and looks bad. I'm told a tan will be available. You ought to look into that if you're going to buy one of these. The climate controls are very easy to use. Knob, a few buttons, the way it should be. On the more expensive Mazda 6, we had a very simple navigation radio system in the middle of the dash. Unfortunately, the Mazda 3, we don't get that. We get a screen up here, then a console knob down here. Now, in all fairness, once you learn it, it's simple to use, but it is kind of a pain in the ass. It'll take a couple of days to get the hang of it. Personally, I prefer the other system. Very simple knobs, but this is what you get. Live with it. The rocker panel bodywork under the door is still a bit on the wide side, although not as much as the Mazda 6. But if you're driving in mud and dirt, you still rub your pant legs on the bodywork. So you want to keep the car clean. One of the reasons I gave the bigger Mazda 6 such great reviews is because it was a great car to drive. The whole vehicle seemed connected. The steering, the brakes, everything responds to exactly what you want to do. Same thing on the Mazda 3. This is a very responsive car, great fun to drive. As far as handling goes, this vehicle corners about as good as you could expect an economy car sedan to do. I found the ride to be very comfortable as well. This is a nice vehicle for long trips. In fact, if I close my eyes, I couldn't tell if I'm driving a Mazda 3 or Mazda 6. That is, unless you get one of the smaller engines with less power. Naturally, this 2-liter engine doesn't have the guts of the 2.5, but I'm not complaining. It's more than adequate. Has all the power you'll need. A little bit on the noisy side. But I've been driving very hard in the city for about 4 days now, and I'm getting 34.6 miles per gallon. And you can't complain about that. The base price of a Mazda 3 runs around $17,000. This 4-door sedan was loaded up with everything but the bigger engine, so it was just under $25,000. This is a very, very excellent car at a very reasonable price. If you need a vehicle with more room, the Mazda 6 sedan or the CX-5 Mazda SUV might fit the bill. I did a video on both those on YouTube, so if you're interested, take a look and watch. Now we'll take a look at the 2014 Kia Soul, which has been redesigned, although you wouldn't know from looking at a distance. We get a slightly modified front end shape. The previous stinky headlights have been modified to be huge, able to see from any angle, a modified bumper. Overall, a nice looking car without changing too much. Now we can look at the interior. The base engine is a 1.6 liter putting out 130 horsepower, available with a 6-speed automatic or 6-speed manual. Optional is a 2 liter putting out 164 horsepower, 6-speed automatic only. There's not much difference in gas mileage between the two. The big engine 2.0 is rated at 23 to 31. The smaller one, last rating I saw, was 24 to 31. People who drive these in the real world tell me the 2.0 does better. We'll find out as we drive this. The gauge cluster of the sole is very easy to read. Lots of useful information here. The optional audio navigation system is very simple to use, by the way. The Kia Soul is a compact vehicle, but sports one of the biggest glove boxes I've ever seen. Room for a lot of stuff in there. Why can't bigger cars do this? There's lots of room in the second row for 2 passengers. I'm sitting in the back. I have lots of headroom. I've noticed the materials and workmanship are very good. Of course, to make room for the 2 rear passengers, you have to sacrifice some cargo area back here. You have a nice storage area under this lid. Lots of trays to put things and hide. And underneath here, more storage because you don't get a spare tire, just a cheap air pump. So if you have a flat, you're going to have a problem. I understand spare tires and jacks are available from the Kia dealer. I suggest you get one. The only real beef I had with the Kia in regards to the interior is this lower body panel under here. Some people call rocker panels. Way too wide. This here is unnecessary, which means every time you step out of the vehicle you're rubbing your pants legs on the outside bodywork. And when you rub your pants leg on the outside bodywork, you're getting mud and dirt on your pants. If you live in an area where it rains and there's lots of mud and dirt on the road, you're going to have to keep this car very, very clean or your pants will be very, very dirty. Some car manufacturers have told me these wide body panels are necessary for strength and crash testing. Frankly, I don't buy it. Those true L cars would have this. And these are salespeople telling me this, not the engineers. Frankly, I think this is just annoying. But in some cars, you just have to live with it. Before we move on, one last shot of the Kia's interior. The Soul's a nice highway cruiser. Great high-speed stability. Very low wind noise, unusual for a box-shaped vehicle. Climbing these steep hills, I'm getting 26 miles per gallon. This is the swinginest town in the state. Nothing, Arizona. Of course, there's nothing here since the owner shut it down. So I won't be getting any gas or food here anytime soon. Now to test this Kia for reliability and durability, I drove all the way from Arizona to New York. There's a picture of the Statue of Liberty to prove it. And here's a picture of the Empire State Building in all its glory. And a picture of the MGM Grand. Oops, I'm busted. Okay, I'm really not in New York, I'm in Las Vegas, but hey, it's business. I don't drink or gamble anymore, so it's okay. In order to drive from Arizona to New York in 4 hours, I'd have to be a magician like David Copperfield. Oh, there he is, right there. Time to go. Now, one of the biggest problems in Vegas is once you leave a parking spot in front of your motel room, someone steals it. So we got an old trick here. You just put an orange cone in your spot. Security thinks maintenance put it there. Maintenance thinks security put it there. And they rallied. I put it there 10 hours ago. And now I've got my parking space. Just a little trick for all you guys who travel a lot. Also took a drive to Paris, France. Here's the Eiffel Tower. Right next to Bally's Casino. Alright, I'm busted again. I'm in Vegas still. But this panorama sunroof in the Kia sure does show a lot. In city traffic, the Kia Soul is a pleasure to drive. This 2-liter engine has lots of pulling power. The steering and brakes have good feedback. The ride's very comfortable. Handling is excellent. And you move in and out of traffic with ease. I'm very impressed. I put over 600 miles on this Kia Soul with my highway trip. Found it very comfortable to drive. Excellent high-speed stability. Overall average 27 miles per gallon, which is about all you're going to get off a box-shaped car like this since we're pushing a lot of air. I might mention though, around town I'm still getting 24 in heavy city traffic, which I consider very good. One of the reasons I paired the Kia Soul with the Mazda 3 is because in the $15,000 to $25,000 bracket, I think these vehicles are the best in their class, with the Kia being the best box-shaped compact car and the Mazda 3 being the best compact sedan. It's pretty hard to go wrong with these two, and they're both good values. Which only goes to prove you don't need to spend an awful lot of money to get a nice car. Kia claims to sell about 100,000 Souls every year. Judging from all these Souls in the parking lot here, must be true. Looks like they're everywhere. Everything but the hamsters.